Hey, so welcome along to our digital ministry channel today. And today we've got a very special guest with me, Neil Pule. And Neil, I'm just so delighted that you get to share with us today. You're a student at Amno University. You've been studying now for a while, and you're actually inspired into doing videos. So how did you come to get involved in doing videos, and what's your story behind that?
So how I got started was 5 years ago. So my wife, Irina, worked in our church at one of the departments, and in that department she needed to make videos, updates and things like that, just to show what's going on, what she was looking after. And so they will make videos for her, and then she will see them, but the cinematics and the actual footage was good, but the message that it carried didn't really sit with her. So they did that a few times, and then she looked at me and said, "Why don't you start making videos that, to tell the story, that you know what it's about, and to really tell the story of."
So did you have experience at making videos at that point?
No, I had no experience.
5 years ago was ground zero for you.
Ground zero. So the only experience I had was at our honeymoon. We traveled to Rome, to Italy, and we went to Rome, Venice, Florence.
Nice.
And so when you're in those places, the architecture, the history. So I had a selfie stick in my phone, an iPhone 10.
Yeah.
And I was recording, taking photos.
Yeah.
And everything, like every day, I'll be walking around. Before that, I'm not a really photographic person, or I'm more behind the scenes. But I was taking photos, and then when we came home, I put a video together on our using iMovies, and so I put it together, and apparently she liked it. So yeah, we just watched it as a family, and it turned out okay. So when this came, she thought of that. She's like, "Hey, we went over." Yeah, she's like, "Hey, you went over there, you've done this," and I think that she can see that my storytelling and actually trying to portray the message to the audience. That's what she put together. So that's what she asked me, and I said,
it's this storytelling ability, right? So tell us what goes through your mind when you're thinking of the story that you want to tell or that you want to portray.
Well, that's the process, because the storytelling, like someone like myself who has no experience and is trying to piece things together. So what I used to do is I used to just go out and film anything and everything, and then I'll come back to the editing table and I'll get frustrated I didn't get the right shots. What I am learning now is, before you shoot, pre-planning is everything. You gotta plan your shots. You gotta script your story. You gotta have a shot list, and then storyboarding. So that's what I'm learning now, that you gotta plan ahead. And so once you have that, then when you go out to shoot, you will know what to shoot.
Right.
But my issue is that I just went out and shot things randomly, that when I came back to the editing table, it was hard for me to piece the story together. So what I need to do is, when I shoot, I have to remember the editing. So I shoot like I'm editing the video. So I'll know, okay, when I'm on the editing table, I need the establishing shot in the beginning, then I need a medium shot for the environment, and then a close-up shot, and just have a shot list. So that's what I'm working on at the moment, to try and get better at storytelling.
Nice. So that's really interesting. So, and where are you? Are you just learning this, teaching this yourself? You going and doing like watching podcasts of others doing this, or a combination of both, or what's going on?
Think Media is one.
Yeah.
Think watch this. Yeah, everything's been at this point being self-taught for me. But this semester I'm actually I'm taking the video production and digital technologies unit with Lynette, and this is my only formal training in regards to how to compose your shot. So when you go out, instead of just pointing your camera, you know how to compose your shot, the leading lines, and also the audio and the lighting. And see, when I first started, I thought it was just capturing image, which is correct. But you got to also remember that when it comes to video, your audio was 50% of your content. Like the audio has to be good. So if you go outside and you film a really good interview, but the wind noise is so strong, that blows your audio out.
I tell you, listen, I totally embarrassed myself one day. I went to record a interview with a couple. They'd been married for 50 years. And I wanted to get this interview and then use that online, right? And I went around there and I'm like, okay, I set the interview up. I put microphones on them, little Sennheiser radio mics. And I forgot to hit record on my portable device, battery powered Zoom thing. So anyway, I thought, well, at least my camera captured the audio. But it didn't capture the audio either, because I had the audio turned off on that because I was using audio on here. And so I did this full-on 40-minute interview with this couple and got zero from it that I could use. And I was so ticked off with myself. It's like, and so you're right, sound is so important. If you get dodgy sound, no one's going to want to listen. Yeah.
And that's what I learned. The video that you played, my video that I did for our class, played a couple of weeks ago. Like when I went out to shoot that video, I had that issue. I went out, it was windy, I recorded, the audio worked, but it was just blowing out because of the wind noise.
Yeah.
So the entire afternoon that I went to shoot that video, I couldn't use any of the footage. So I had to come back and did a voiceover at about 2 a.m. in the morning. And that's the voiceover I used over stock footage.
Yeah.
So, and the other thing is, with the planning, you also have to adapt. Like you can plan things, but if something goes wrong, you got to adapt on the fly to know, how to fix it. But this all comes from experience. The thing about content creation is you got to go out there and do it. We can talk as a class, or you can watch. The beautiful thing about YouTube is everything's on there. Everything, like how to shoot, like from iPhones, how to edit, color grading, audio, equipment, reviews, the cameras. I'll be honest, if it wasn't for YouTube, I wouldn't be this passionate about the space that I'm in, because I had no one to lean on.
Yeah.
This whole time, I only had one person, but I only asked him once every 6 months, and it was just little questions about camera settings and white balances and things like that. So I think what you're saying here is really so important, Neil. Like you're talking about your own journey, right? And in there, I guess, as an outsider just watching and seeing what you submitted for your assignment, and then what you've gone on to produce since then. And I think, okay, there really definitely is a quality there in terms of how you are telling stories. And I think that's one of the things that's a standout, I think, in any video, is the ability to better communicate stories. And then you're just applying yourself to, well, how else do I learn my art? Well, you just go on looking. And I just think, well, it's kind of obvious, but it's really commendable as well, because you actually are doing that and you really are improving your art. What do you see as your end goal of what you're doing? My end goal?
Yeah, well, so creating videos, that kind of thing.
Creating videos to grow we're losing the youth of our church. The young people of our church.
Yeah. They
come to church and they're swiping like this on their phones. And so my goal is to go to where they are, the young people, take digital ministry, like the vision that you have, and it's a weakness in our church that we need to.
It is.
We need to step up to this platform to create content for everyone, really, especially the young people, though, but for everyone. And I feel that the church, and I feel that the pulpit has changed. Ever since COVID-19, when that hit, the pulpit has changed. It's no longer just a church inside the actual building, but we now have a congregation online. And so we got to cater for both of them.
Yeah. Sometimes the congregation online is even bigger, right?
That's right.
Some of the guys who tell stories of their time through COVID, they said, wow, our online church has never been so big, right? It's just like huge. We at Maitland had someone in Nova Scotia joining in. It's like, that's ridiculous. That's the other side of the globe. Well, they had connections there, and suddenly this was a way to reconnect.
That's right.
Yeah.
And also when you have seminars at church, you have, we had a couple of weeks ago with our local church, we had 19 people turn up every night at church, but we had another 19 online.
Yeah.
And that's 40, 50 people as a whole, instead of just 19 that's come to church. You've got another half outside of online that's listening in, learning, feedback as well. So I believe that our church, there's two parts to it. There's the online, and then there's the guys that come to church. And the pastors are wanting people to come to church. Well, that's what the digital ministry space is to engage and try and ask them to come to church, to meet up.
Yeah. So if you're, and I love the vision of that, because I think you're so right. There is the church in physical presence, but there is also the church that's in the digital space, or the metaverse, if you like. And it's like, all right, both of those. We actually need both of those. If we're gonna incarnate the gospel and make it real to people, it has to be real in the real world, but it also has to be real in the metaverse. We actually have to go into that space to connect with people, because that's where they are too.
That's correct.
Yeah.
In Christ, we've got to go where the people is. The church will cater for what's outside, what's in the field, instead of, what I mean? Where the people are at, where their needs, that's where the church needs to go.
Yeah.
And I see a big need out in the digital space. And so the end goal is to reach as many people as we possibly can with digital ministry.
Yeah.
If our forefathers were here, like James and Alan, they would have been on social media, because that's what they use. They use the publishing platform, to reach as many, and that's why the books that she has. And so if they were here now, they will have a YouTube channel, a Facebook page.
They will even be on on Twitch, the gaming channel. They might even be in the virtual reality worlds that are created online. That people take on avatars and they go into these virtual worlds. I know Jeff Parker was actually using one of those to really good effect for quite some time, of actually just meeting people in the virtual reality space and then leading them to Christ in that space. Very, very interesting space online.
Because end of the day, we've got to reach as many people as we can for the gospel, and this platform us that ability.
So Neil, if we just change gears a little bit, and someone's just starting out, this was you 5 years ago, just starting out. So what would you say, what are the first things that they need to actually get experience with, get some momentum with?
Well, just use the best camera is the one that you have. So use your phone. 9 out of 10 of us will have a phone. So start with your phone, get a tripod, and then get good lighting. When I first started, I thought it was just image, but like I said, 50% of it is audio.
Yeah.
Good audio. There's reviews on the different mics to use on your iPhone. And if you can afford a good camera, then you can get a camera as well. So, and just go out and do it. I mean, you can watch videos all day, but you just got to go out and do it. Just got to press record and just go and have fun. And then when you come back and you edit, all the mistakes that you've done and all the frustrations that you'll go through, it's actually part of the learning process. The reason why I can share like this is because I went through the pains of. Because I started on the iPhone, started filming, and when I got a gimbal, and that's the other thing that you need, the stabilization. You use a gimbal for an iPhone or a tripod. They also have gimbals for a camera. I've got a Sony. I like Sony's because they're smaller than the camera and than the Canon, and they're mirrorless and it's full frame. So And they're good at low light. So the Sony's, I have a Sony A7 III and a Sony A7S III. So, and these are the cameras that I use at the moment. So just start small. Don't have to think too big. Just start small, and also from my perspective, script your story.
Yeah, I was going to say, so take us through the steps that you go through in, like, obviously you got to get the story from somewhere, you get the story idea, and then you script it out. So take us through, how do you know that this is a good story to use, and how do you then script that out?
So for me it was, for example, I was involved in, I haven't actually scripted this, but I was involved in a charity project to the islands, installing PCs for one of the primary schools that we have over there. And so I was thinking of how I'm going to script this story to eventually put a film together, or a video together for that experience. And I also tried vlogging, and for me it's what's inspiring. It's what's inspired you at this time. Like for me right now, it was okay. I'll share. For me right now, for my videography class that I had a school approach me that wanted me to film their Christmas promotional video that they have. Nice. So that's what I have at the moment, and thank the Lord is they're willing to pay me, not a lot, but just enough. So so when they came with me, they gave me the script, and so I look at the script, I look at the script, and then I break the script up into different shot lists. You need a shot list of how to shoot the script that you're looking at, and then from there you can do storyboarding. Now, to be honest with you, that's been my weakness this whole time, is what I'm sharing with you right now, because I used to just go out randomly and then start shooting things and come back and try and edit. But from the mistakes that I made, I know when I film something, first of all, I need an establishing shot. So the establishing shot is the wide shot of any event that I'm filming. So for this video that I'm going to make, the first shot I'm going to shoot is an establishing shot of the school, like to show, so it gives the people the context of where I am and what I'm filming.
Okay.
So and it's very important to have that shot list. And like I said, that's my weakness at the moment. That's what I'm working on how when I have an idea.
Doesn't sound like much of a weakness, Neil. It sounds like you've actually got some muscle already developed in that area.
It's all the mistakes that I've made.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, it's all the mistakes that I've made, and I've done a few weddings. I've done a funeral. I've done some promotional videos for church and also for the department of the church. And so all those things, all the mistakes and lessons that I've learned, that the next time I go out and shoot, in my mind, like, got to get the audio right. I've got to get the lighting right. I'll make sure I stabilize the shots. Make sure I have a wide shot, a medium shot, a close up. Make sure it's in, So that's all going through my head when I'm shooting something.
Yeah.
So for me, because I'm self-taught, I've been on University of YouTube for the past 5 years to try and learn learn all this stuff. So this will be my first formal lesson for this video production and digital technologies unit that I'm taking at Avondale. But prior to that, like the video that I made for your class, this is all from what I've learned using stock footage.
Yeah.
And how to piece it together is your script. See, when you're filming, you got your A footage, which is your interview, and then you got your B rolls, which is the footage that go on top of the A roll. So for the short film that I made for you, when I sang prayer is opening, and so I had the opening scene of a wide shot of going through the forest and beams of light coming through, and then I said, and then in the script is saying, it's not bringing God down to us, it's taking us to Him. And then that drone shot that drone shot of going up to show the viewer of taking us to him. So the script dictates your shots. So the first thing you got to come up with is to know what to shoot. You got to have your script. Once you have your script, then you go through the script and you got to figure out how I'm going to film this, what kind of lens I'm going to use, what do I need, the audio, the lighting, and so you go through your script, you do your shots. And I haven't done it, I'll be honest, but then you do your storyboarding where you know exactly what's first, what's next. And so by the time you get to
storyboarding, how detailed do you get in your storyboard?
Depends really. But like I said, this is the part that I'm about to learn now. Yes, but through my watching online tutorials, I've learned. At the moment, I'm at scripting and shot list.
Okay.
I haven't gone deep into the storyboarding, but I know that's what's next. So that's so it's scripting.
It's interesting because I'm actually learning something here. Because for me, I've just tended to think, oh, you just storyboard and you just do it all there. But actually, so you're writing the script, which is just your words that you're saying.
Yes.
And you break that down and say, well, okay, from those words that I've written, I need to get these different shots to go with it. And when you're thinking of your shot list, are you thinking every 3 seconds or every 5 seconds you need to change a shot or something?
Yeah, about 20 seconds. 20 seconds is a good amount of time. It depends on what you're shooting. Like obviously, if you're shooting an interview, and then it's you've got either 2 cameras or 3 cameras, and then your lighting. But for me, it's 20 seconds. I like to shoot something. So when I'm shooting something, I shoot for like 20 seconds to get it. And then I move on to the next shot, and these shots are called B-rolls. So B-rolls are a shot they go on top of the
which is your voice recording and
yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
that's right. So we were cutting this up in to put some B-rolls on it. We'll be talking about B-rolls, and then we'll cut to someone on YouTube, and also YouTube has got everything. If you want to know about storyboarding, just jump on YouTube and how do you storyboard, or what's a shot list, it has everything. So, but then, and also it's an art, it's a science. Like you do it, first time you come back, all the mistakes that you make are precious, because those are your lessons that will help you improve the next video.
Okay. So, I don't know whether you actually answered this, but where you said, you did in a way, you said that your dream is to really work with young people in a local church, that you really want to be able to give something for them. So, I don't know, when you graduate, what do you anticipate doing?
If they give me the chance and they trust me, I wouldn't mind leading the digital ministry. Probably after you'll probably be leading or helping out in that digital ministry department of the church, like bringing so at the churches they have like EDRA, they've got the youth department, they got all those different departments, but to have a digital ministry department part of the conference.
Yeah, I really like that now. I think that's really solid. In fact, I've written to our union president, and he's taken it to the presidents to talk around this space. Because I think it's such an important conversation, and I think that's a conversation almost to come back to for another day. I really think it's super important because it is where the people are, and one of the criticisms that comes back is that for those pastors who do get involved in the digital space, is that the presidents are saying, well, they spend a lot of time there and we don't see a lot of results. And I think one of the things that we need to redefine what results mean, but we also need to get better at working to say, okay, so we're working with this group of people. How can we take them on a journey? What journey are we actually taking them on for a start? Are we just taking church online? Are we just promoting our events online? Or are we actually creating an online community? And I see that as something quite different.
Yeah. The good thing about YouTube is you can see the views. How many views. You can also see the age demographic that's watching, from 18 all the way to I think 65, 70. So YouTube, when you can see all that when a month after we create a YouTube channel based on that. See, the thing about online is content. Content is king. So we can produce the content that is needed in that space. We can get the results will come through, like I said, from those from YouTube, where it tells you how many viewers, who's watching, and then from there we can gauge on if what the content we're using is working. I'll share this with you quickly.
Okay.
My little YouTube channel that I have has given me the opportunity for 3 jobs. This little YouTube channel that I've got for church. So it hasn't officially launched, but one of the channels that I'm looking after right now, when it was given to me, it had 1 subscriber, which was me, and 18 views.
Right.
And on it they had like 20 videos, and they started last year. So 1 subscriber, which is me, 18 views. And I met with the pastor a week and a half ago, and he said to me, "You don't mind if you can look after this channel for us?" Week and a half after I received the channel, it's now got 25 subscribers and 6,000 views in a week and a half that I've looked after. So that alone gives me the indication that we're heading in the right direction. So I'm seeing that in another month, it can be 10,000 views. So off my little YouTube channel that I have of me and my family that we created. And then that's how this other opportunity of the school. And then I have another opportunity next year with the church doing in the digital ministry space. So you just gotta create the content and know. But that's the fear that I see. The church is, how do we make connection if it's actually working, bringing people into the church? But my question is, what do you feel about that?
Yeah, look, I think this is an important part of this conversation. As I reflect on that, one of the books that I read a little while ago was by Seth Godin. It's called Tribes. And in this book, he's talking about, so Seth Godin, by the way, he's a marketing guy in the States, and he writes extensively. He's written, The Blue Cow, a book called The Purple Cow, and so on, so he's writing all of these different kinds of ideas, and he's just trying to teach people how to do marketing, right? And I've been reading lots of his books over the years. But in this one on tribes, what he actually describes, he says, well, hey, look, the world has gone tribal. And one individual can belong to multiple tribes. You might belong to the tribe who follow the All Blacks or the Wallabies. You might belong to the tribe who goes for the Blues instead of the Maroons. You might belong to the tribe who are Ford as opposed to Toyota. You might be in the tribe that goes for Nike instead of Adidas, and on it goes, So we have these kind of like preferences, but tribalism goes much more than that. It goes down to, well, I belong to the tribe who are into doing healthy things, or I'm in the tribe who go riding mountain bikes on weekends, or I'm in the tribe. And so, you can think of all of those things. One of the students that we teach, he's in the tribe that do reenactments of medieval fights, right? And it's like, wow, that's a very unique kind of tribe, but it's a tribe nevertheless. And so what are the things that would define a tribe? Well, there's a leader of the tribe. There are, of course, the followers, and there's the reason why they're getting together. So why are they getting together? They're to talk about the tribal things, the things that they have an interest in and that inspire them. And so what Seth Godin says about that is that the job of a leader is to not only lead, but to give voice for the tribe, so the tribe actually can share their voice and start to lead. And there's kind of like this symbiotic thing that takes place as that whole leadership takes on. And then what happens is you don't actually have to sell land to your tribe, because your tribe are already buying what you've got. So you don't need to try and convince them of something. So for me, obvious examples of this would be in a world that's filled with stress and pain and, the angst of modern life, what people need is to unplug. So a very logical tribe that we as a church haven't done real well at creating at all, but I'm deeply interested in this, how to set this up. And so part of the whole digital idea is, well, to unleash things like this, but a tribe centered around Sabbath and de-stressing from life as you recenter in God and in nature and in family, and just go at the end of a week. It's like, how glorious is that? Now, as Adventists, we do that already. I mentally check out at the end of a week and I just go, Sabbath, it's great. So imagine if we could teach that to the world and they become a world who's interested in following and becoming part of our tribe. And for me, it's that. And then all you're doing is speaking to your tribe, encouraging your tribe, reminding them, giving them ideas of how to do that better and better. And so there's this whole tribal thing. And I think the idea of digital ministry for me is about, well, finding your tribe that you're going to speak to. Who are your kind of people? And when you start speaking to your kind of people, just develop your voice. And so then that gets to your stories that you're telling, your storyboarding, your shot list, all of that. But you're just telling your story to your people so that you take them not just on a journey in one video, but you take them on a journey for your whole channel, the history of your channel kind of thing. That, for me, is digital ministry.
Yeah, and content, the content that you create, and as you get bigger in your YouTube journey, you can actually get the feedback from your viewers on what they want to see.
Yeah.
That will help you to determine what content to create so that people can, and it's an art. Like if you create a video for YouTube and just upload it any random time and think it's going to work, it's not going to work. There's an algorithm that YouTube has that there's certain times you got to upload. It's either in the morning from 7 to 9, after 12 from 1 to 2, and then in the evenings at 5 to 7. So those are the times that the algorithm, and then depending on your audience that you're trying to reach, like you want to know what times that they get up and they're going to view the content that allows YouTube to push your content out. So it's the constant. See, the thing is, it's a full-time job, to be honest with you, to grow an online platform. You got to monitor it. What works today may not work tomorrow, and it's.
It is. Think of the numbers, right? So if in a few short weeks you get 10,000 views on things in your church,
yeah,
that's an enormous reach.
That's an enormous reach, and that's and the thing is, you go to church and there's a sermon, and you got a sermon for an hour, a sermon for 40 minutes, an hour.
That's too long. You need a shorter sermon.
Okay, from like let's say 20 minutes, 30 minutes.
Yeah.
So you get that sermon, and then you can cut that sermon up into shorts, 30 seconds. Get all the really juicy bites out of the entire sermon, and that's another content. So then from your main content, that one, which is 20 minutes, 30 seconds, you can cut another 30 shorts, 30 shorts, if it's a good sermon, from all those bites, and that becomes another content that you can just release during the week.
For sure.
So that your audience always they got something to come to your channel. They can see that you're posting, but also with YouTube you can't flood it. What I've learned, and I've made a mistake, is I made three shorts and I released them all at the same time. And the last short was the one that went mini viral. It got 2,400 views. But the ones before that only made 100 or 50. So what I learned is I only post online on YouTube, post it for that time, and then leave it an hour to give that content time to breathe, so people can watch that content. So after an hour, and you can see it's how that's going, then you can release another content.
I like that.
So that's just what I'm saying. It's a full-time job, something you monitor, you look at, you come back to it, and you're constantly at it, trying to perfect the science of how the algorithm of YouTube works, so that if your content is released and it's in line of the algorithm, YouTube will push it out to millions of viewers, and that's how your content will go viral.
Yeah.
But if you just release it any random time and just leave it without learning how it really works, then you'll be struggling. But yeah, like I said, it's a science, and that's what I'm learning at the moment. So that's why I was able to carry that channel from 18 views to 6,000 views in a week and a half. It's because I sat here and I was trying to read the algorithm of YouTube and find out when is the best time to release the content. So, and once you have that, because
and those 3 time slots really make a whole heap of difference. Like the first one is your breakfast time slot. So people are just getting up, they're checking their phones, all of that kind of thing before they go to work. Next one is a lunchtime time slot where they're just, they're in a cafe somewhere and they're on their phone and they're just scrolling through the shorts, reels and stuff, and they capture something there. And then the final one is they're home in the evening, they've had tea and they're sitting down and they're going again. And it's like, well, of course those times matter, right? They're the obvious sort of times.
Yeah, and then the last one is the bonus one. Is from 7 to 9 in the evening.
Right.
That's the time they're just relaxing and they So this is from experience and just watching tutorials, because I've got a YouTube channel, as you know, and I'm wanting to grow it as well. So I know that if I push it and if I create this at this certain time, and I'll set a way to see how many views. And sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But you just have to keep at it. It's like anything, man. It's a skill. It's something you just got to keep at it. It's like you play rugby, you get that pass wrong. And when you go to training, you got to make sure you got to pass that inside ball properly.
Yeah, yeah, totally.
You know what I mean? It's like,
So big question, who's going to win the World Cup?
Ooh, the World Cup. I'm still backing the All Blacks.
Are you?
But I would say that this is the best time France. This is their chance to win the World Cup because it's in France.
Yeah.
If they don't win it this time, they don't win it, it'll be a long time until they even get a chance. So the favorites, I think it's either the All Blacks, France, or South Africa. Those are the dark horse is England, because England always gets up for World Cups. They can be rubbish throughout the whole time, but then when they turn up to a World Cup, they're usually there or thereabouts. And also the other big part is the officiating. The Northern Hemisphere officiates the rugby a bit different to the way the Southern Hemisphere plays.
They do. I've been watching with interest, and sorry, this is just completely aside, but I've been watching with interest Fiji side, the Samoan side as well. Really stoked to see them have teams in there, and they're not just teams, but they're really competitive teams. And just to watch them, and it's just like for me it's a thrill to watch them have a go, and I love the open way, particularly Fiji plays. Anyway.
And they got a gun team, Fiji. They've been, and also Fiji's been in the Super Rugby. They've been involved with the players. They've got a Super Rugby team.
Yeah.
So which means that by the time they get to the international level, they got cohesion in their team because they all play together week in, week out.
Yeah.
Then those combinations don't have to.
The combinations really work. Actually, they play really good rugby.
Yeah, absolutely. So out of the Pacific teams, Fiji is probably the top one. To be honest,
I agree. I really do.
Fiji's the top one, and then Samoa, and then Tonga, and then or Samoa and Tonga, neck and neck. But I still back my Usos to do well, in the World Cup, and it's rugby for us Islanders is a way of life. It's
right up there with volleyball.
Yeah, volleyball. So no, it's been good.
Neil, do you have a video that you want to show us?
Do I have a video?
Yeah, something that you have put together, and then you can just talk about that.
So this is my first short that I've created. First ever short that I created. So this is my this is our little YouTube channel.
Yeah.
That's when I say it's it's only done we only got 40 subscribers, but there's 40 there. I've only made 15 videos, but and so this is the main videos that we have, but these are the shorts that I have in videos. So we'll go to the shorts. So this video here. So the the funny thing is, this is the first short that I made, and it went mini viral. Like, I mean, it's done the best one for us. So I'll play it.
Yep.
Truth is, you're not going to be liked by everyone in ministry. There'll always be someone who'll want to bring you down, make your calling harder, hurt your family. This will make you question if where you are right now is where you're supposed to be. You are exactly where you're supposed to be. Anticipate opposition when you're doing something the devil is not happy with. Christ was constantly under attack, and we're no different. We have to cultivate resilience in spiritual warfare. So when those steely bullets start flying and some get through, Christ is reminding us that, hey, we're on the same team and we'll get through this together. Don't let go. I have already taken some hits for you. I love you. That, my friend, is truth. It's hard to see an idea, a situation from another person's perspective. But if we don't, we run the risk of isolating others and becoming narrow-minded. In a heated conversation with my spouse over the care of our son and who does what, my husband had a light bulb moment. The care of our son is not about this and who does what. This is irrelevant. What matters most is what's best for him. We need to see ministry in the same light. What we think is best for someone else is often not what is actually needed. We need to put our view, our preconceived ideas aside and listen. Then we will start to see and hear how to minister to another soul.
Just play one more.
I don't know about you. It was a Friday afternoon, and the sky went black with a supernatural darkness that could only be caused by God himself. Christ was about to pay the ultimate sacrifice for humanity, his horrendous death for our salvation. Yet the gift did not end there. Christ was lovingly laid to rest according to the requirements of the Sabbath, resting before his monumentous act of self-resurrection on Sunday morning. Before God can use us for an important work, we too need to rest, taking time out for self-care as much as resting in his presence. We can never underestimate the value of intentional rest so that we're refreshed for ministry. What can you do today to take that step?
So there's a few of the shorts that I've created on our
Yeah, nice, mate. Nice.
Our channel, and it's about like rest, resilience. So so our channel is based on leadership. Like, as leaders, the struggles that we have, as going through those challenges, criticism, we need to rest, change, transitions. So that was what our YouTube channel is based on. So the one that writes the scripts is my wife. So she writes the scripts and she's the voice.
I wondered who the voice was. Yeah, so that's your wife.
Yeah, so she's the voice and so she's the voice and the face of the channel. So like I said, I like being behind the scenes. I like being behind the camera, and so I do all that, and she's more the person in the front. So so that's our little channel. There's just some of the shorts that created. But this channel has given me the opportunities that I have now with this other channel that I'm looking after, and everything that I've learned here, I'm now applying to that channel. Yeah. And our channel is struggling with content. I'm not going to lie, with family, filming, having a toddler, and then another one on the way. Like, just to go out and to have a slot to film has been challenging. Yep. So we're trying to do the best that we can of the content that we have. But the channel that's been given to me, that I said that I've generated 6,000 views from in a week and a half, they got so much content that I'm going through at the moment. So I'm just, so we're back here. Yeah, cool. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. So all so now the channel that they've given me, they got so much content, and I'm like, I'm just going to apply everything that I've learned.
Oh, it's like a picnic.
So that's the reason why I was able to carry the channel from 18 views to 6,000 views in a week and a half. It's because the content I had was so good that I just got the long version of the videos, and I just just made all the shorts, giving you a gem here, brother. As you look at the long form, and you just cut up like the shorts that you just watched on our video. So
those shorts that you're capturing, the video has to be close enough and framed good enough to be able to use that way, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's a vertical because they like because
Yeah, they do like the portrait view.
yeah, so that is that vertical format that they like.
But you don't want someone standing a long way off in the distance. Like, you want to be able to get that vertical view, but you want to get it close up of the body, the head kind of thing. Or doesn't it matter?
Yeah, so it doesn't really matter because you can frame. So in the editing tool, you can frame it within that vertical. So,
Okay.
So what editing tool do you use?
LumaFusion is the one that I use.
Oh, that's for your iPad.
Yeah, and I do that on the iPad, yeah.
It's funny, I edited my first ever video on LumaFusion. So I went from iMovie to LumaFusion, now to Final Cut.
Okay.
And I'm looking at Resolve, and I'm looking at Resolve at the moment, like you know. So anyway, so I edit with Final Cut.
Yeah.
And so with Final Cut, that vertical, you can move it to align the frame that you want.
Yeah.
And then so when you're speaking, yeah, you can in the editing tool you can do that. So that's what I've done with our footage.
Okay. So that's pretty easy to do then.
Yeah, it's quite simple to do. Like I said, YouTube, just how to edit in vertical form, and there'll be a video. There'll be someone out there that's done it, and you just watch that video, the tutorial, brother. I tell you, so YouTube has been awesome, man. It's helped me. If it wasn't for YouTube, I wouldn't know how to use these cameras. Like all the see the camera that I've got here. See the camera that I have here.
Yeah.
So this camera that I have here. See, it's a A7S plus the Sony shotgun. See how it's nice and small. Yeah, and there's no cables, as you can see. There's no cable, so it goes straight into the mic shot there. So when I'm doing, and I can hold it. So when I do a vlog, see, I can hold it like that. It's a vlogging setup. So and then the boom mic helps with the audio for the vlog. And this is a 16 to 35 mil, so it's the widest lens. So which means that as a vlogger, it will capture everything instead of 35 mil, which is nice, but it's a bit too close.
Yeah.
So yeah, so that's the kind of what do you call it, of shot that you can get with some of the equipment, depending on what you're doing and how you shoot it. And at the back, you can see my lighting there. I'm working on my YouTube. Far from it, but I'm working on my studio here at home. You know, just to put some lights, and I haven't had time to put it all together. But I'll eventually get there when the time comes. So yeah, and that's the other thing is you gotta use the equipment. You gotta know the different settings of the cameras. You gotta know the lenses. And then you got to know the depth of field. Like, so the depth of field is when it's nice and blurred. When you have someone standing in front and behind them is blurred out, but it makes it look really nice and cinematic. And also composition, how you compose your frame. You know, the rule of thirds, where you place a person either on so it goes like that, and you place them on the different edges on the dots, and so when you watch it when you view it, your eyes get drawn to those points on those rule of thirds. So yeah, and then leading lines.
Like with your head sitting right now, right?
Yeah. See, it's in the middle.
Yeah, totally it is.
Of the rule of thirds, if I was to put those lines, you know, line going like that, and then a few lines coming like this. My head is in the middle frame here.
Yeah,
so,
where mine's not, right? It's kind of like too high. I need to do that.
Yeah. See,
yeah,
like that. And then once you do it, like I said, you know, our hearts we're passionate about the space, and I pray that the conference and the church sees it, and they can give us, and they can, back us up for funding, and the passion, the purpose will get it through. Yes, and the equipment that I purchased is not cheap. Like the lens there is 1.5, the camera's 4.5, the mic is 600, the tripod is 500. So you're looking at about $6,000 just sitting here.
Wow.
But you know what I mean? Yeah. And then my first camera was 2.5, and I had a wedding year to get 2 of them. So that's $5,000 for 2 cameras, not including the lenses. and then the editing tool was 500. Like, I say this humbly and I thank the Lord for providing, but this is the kind of scope that if you want to do it, you need the equipment to do it. So my prayer is, right now I've got this, is using it. So I want to go out, film what we talked about, script, shot list, and then storyboarding, and then once there, and then I can go out, film with my family, film at church, digital ministry, space for church. That's something that I'm heading into, one of the opportunities that came up. But because they've seen the work from my little YouTube channel of only 43 subscribers, it's opened up the door for these other opportunities where I can use these skills, you know. And we serve a wonderful God.
We really do, eh?
You just got to turn up and be willing to be used. And he's like, "All right, here, Neil." And I said, "Me? No, Pastor Neil." I went, "Okay, then. You know, here's Neil. You're at Avondale. You know what opportunity that you have to open the space for us coming through. You know, that this space, when you said that we're gonna have a club one, man, I'm all for it, because I've been sitting in this space for the last 5 years."
If someone's listening to this and they're thinking, will I or won't I? Should I give digital ministry a go? Should I start creating content? What would be your encouragement to them?
Do it. Just do it, and it's not easy, but it'll be worth it, because it's content that you're creating. It's a piece that you'll be leaving, like, you know, leaving behind as well. Like, when you create content, you can always watch it and rewatch it, and like I said, I'm someone off the street that just there was a need, and I picked it up and I ran with it, and it's, like I said, it won't be easy, but it'll be worth it. So just go for it. And there's a lot of tutorials online. There's YouTube. There's myself. There's Neil. The two Neils. Two Neils doesn't make it right. But anyway, here we are. And just if it's in your heart, and if you want to do digital ministry, and it's a need in the church, it's a massive need in the church.
Yeah.
Like, every church you go to, there's always the content they want to provide online. And right now it's the best time. Why? Because I have this feeling that the church is about to jump on to this platform that we're about to head towards. Because Neil's on it, and Neil's got contacts, and this is a great club to join, because I think he shares this to the AUC, and just to get exposure, and for the guys there to see, the leaders of our church to see us creating content, that they know that when they need something, we have the skills to provide, and also to support the pastors in their ministry. Because what happens is, you can make a video for the pastor, instead of the pastor can't go and visit the church member, he can just upload the video and share to the church member that he can't visit. So anyway, it's like I said, now is the time, because we're in this space at the moment, and the church is about to jump on. So go for it, man.
Yeah, thank you so much, Neil. Thanks for joining us today, bro. God bless you, and I look forward to catching you next time around.
No worries, brother. Thank you for the opportunity, and may the good Lord bless you also.
Okay, all right, bye. Thanks, man. Appreciate you so much.